Welcome back to Fans of the Band inside the Westlake Marching Band podcast. This is Tania, and I am so excited because I believe this is our 11th episode.
It is indeed.
Isn't that awesome? Again, we always say this is just for our own amusement. Who knew we would get this far? This is pretty awesome. I love it.
But not only is it 11 episodes, we were only planning on maybe 10 downloads an episode.
That's right.
And we hit over 1,000 downloads this week.
Isn't that exciting? When I saw that, when was that? Monday. I guess
Yes.
Monday. I was just like, woohoo! I couldn't believe it. That's so great. So thanks, listeners, for listening and downloading the podcast. That's pretty cool.
In this podcast, we talk about the senior night and the football game and how the band has to come back from San Antonio BOA competition to get here. They allowed an hour and a half drive time from San Antonio.
Which doesn't seem like enough.
Rush hour in San Antonio construction. And then they were doing senior night and going to the football game. And then they moved the football game back half an hour.
Oh, no.
So the senior recognition has been moved all over the place. We'll see what happens. We'll let you know.
Do you think it might be a different night?
I think it'll still be Friday night, and I think the band might just go late to the football game.
We'll have to see. So something else exciting, listeners, that you'll hear when you're listening to this episode of the podcast, Ayren and I have a special announcement that we're very excited about. And so I hope that you listen and you hear the announcement, and then maybe you can join us later on in December.
I think we made the right choice sharing this announcement with Robert because he really got excited and got behind it with us.
I know, he really did. And, we're also thinking about maybe how he can help out next year.
That's right.
If we do this again. So listeners, I hope you listen and kind of hear what that special announcement is.
And lastly, we want to introduce our guest on the podcast this week. We met in the Harp Room with the man who arranged all of the music for the Westlake Marching Show this year, Robert Selaiden.
All right. So thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy this episode of our podcast. All right. So we're going to start out with some rapid fire questions.
Great.
We try to make the questions where you can make your answers super short.
Okay.
Sometimes we fail at that. So we'll see, but try to keep your answers pretty short if you can.
Got it.
And here we go. Where did you go to high school?
Newman Smith High School.
Where's that?
Carrollton, up in Dallas.
Awesome. Did you march when you were there?
I did, yeah.
Okay. What instrument did you play in the band?
Saxophone.
Which one?
Mostly alto saxophone.
Fantastic. Do you still play your instrument?
I do, yeah.
Fantastic.
Not often, but I do.
Where did you go to college?
University of Texas, right here in Austin.
Fantastic. Were you in the marching band in college?
I was.
Awesome. And were you a drum major?
I was a drum major.
For how many years?
Just 1 year, in 2007 and 8.
Fantastic. How many years did you teach in Leander?
14.
Oh, wow. And what was the name of the first show that you wrote music for?
Oh, my gosh. I'm really failing at the rapid fire thing.
No, you weren't.
Really
you were doing so amazing.
I know what school it was.
What school was it?
It was Judson High School in San Antonio.
Fantastic.
I know how to fix it. Let's end the rapid fire.
Let's end it.
Is that
We are
what it
done
is?
with rapid fire.
When it falls off the rockers, then you kind of just stop it.
Sometimes
good.
we don't realize it fell off.
Yeah.
Right. No, that was actually pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So for how many years have you been writing music for marching shows?
2018 is when I first started.
Okay.
Like officially as a paid marching band arranger. Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. I find this really kind of interesting. Can you or do you reuse or recycle things that you've arranged or the music that you've written for a marching show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of depends on the scenario. I do have all of the arrangements that I make, I do as resells. There are a lot of organizations across the country that maybe either are underprivileged or don't have a lot of financial support from their district or their community. And so I just offer an already prepackaged show at a much lower cost. And so I will reuse that stuff and kind of rearrange it for them specific to their orchestration, the members of their their program, soloists, things like that, and change it. But as far as like taking something that I've already done and just like pulling material from that, I try not to do that. I try to make it new and fresh. It's more interesting for me that way as well. Yeah.
When you say, I was interested in what you said about being pre-packaged, what do you mean by that exactly?
So like, for instance, I don't mean to make this like an advertisement, but like if you were to go to my website, then you would see I have it kind of organized by like exciting openers or dark and mysterious or slow and beautiful, or you can buy an entire show. So like technically at the end of this season, we'll take Urban Jungle, the Westlake show, and that music will be offered on my website as like a full package. Someone can buy the entire Westlake Band show.
How would you describe it?
Describe
what would be the descriptor of the show?
Of this year's show?
Because it wouldn't be dark and mysterious.
Not at all.
How would you describe it?
I think it's energetic and exciting. I really like the music that we chose, and we'll probably dive into that a little bit later. But yeah, I'd describe, I think, especially the opener, energetic and exciting. I think our ballad is very powerful. I would describe in the end of the show as pretty dark and angsty, I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you generally given like a theme or a type of music or feel from the band director, and then you determine the music, or kind of how does that collaboration start?
Do you want me to just like walk you through the whole process of just exactly how this goes?
That's one of our questions.
Yeah.
That was like the next question.
Oh,
so
sure.
yes.
It'll answer that question, probably inform a lot of this. So usually, at least in the elite level like Westlake is in, they're one of the best band programs in the country. And so what they're doing is they're hiring, a program coordinator who is essentially our CEO of the show design. And then within that, a program coordinator usually will bring in their people that they're just kind of used to working with, or people they've been curious about working with. In my case, I actually have never worked with Jody Rhodes before, our program coordinator, and we've just been connected through the band world, and she heard some of my stuff last year and got excited about it. And I have a relationship with Thomas. We've been friends for forever, and so it just kind of worked out that way. But they'll hire, a drill writer, a music arranger, percussion arranger, sound designer, choreographers will all be kind of under their umbrella, whoever that is. And then that person will bring a fully realized production to a meeting of some sort. Usually we'll all get together on a Zoom or at someone's house, and they'll present it to us and say, hey, here's a show I have, Urban Jungle. Here's kind of the aesthetic I'm looking at as far as props and backdrops and flags and costuming. Generally, here's the music I'm excited about. What she did this year, she came and she's like, I don't really know what I want to do other than I want to play this Alanis Morissette song for sure. I want to do that. And then she brought up this Blue Rondo a la Turk, which we're doing in the opener. And she'll collaborate with me and the percussion arranger and the sound designer, and we'll kind of work together of like, what music do you think is going to work within this production? And the closer piece, this Do Ex Machina, is something that I brought forward that I thought was really interesting. I was excited about. But she'll kind of discuss the show, collaborate on like what the ideas are that she has visually. And for me, I sit there and go, okay, I see the costumes. I see that we're thinking about the mixture of the city life versus this like kind of very or jungle life, and how do I do that musically? How can I make it sound like a city? How can I make it sound interesting and new age and innovative while also having this kind of like classical exotic feel to it? So that's kind of my role within that. And then from there, she just kind of lets me run loose with it. She actually does do like cut tracks is what we call them. So she'll kind of go in and go, I really like this phrase, and she'll put it on an album for me. And then she'll go, I also want this somewhere, and I also want this somewhere. And then I kind of have creative freedom after all of that to do what I want. So then it's my development ideas, and then she comes back to me, and we must have done 6 or 7 different variations of each of the programs or each of the movements of the show. And so I'll send it back, she'll make edits and send it to me, and I'll make changes and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty long collaborative process, and nothing really happens in the show until I'm done with my product. Because from there, the percussion arranger has to take my music and they arrange their parts to my music. So the sound design is the last part of that. And then from there, it's sent off to the visual team, drill writer starts making things off of the soundtrack that we've created, they usually won't do choreography, obviously, until they have music and know where they're staged on the field. And so Casey Thompson, the guard director here, is kind of the last rung of that, of creating the choreography and all of that. So, yeah, it's a long process.
It sure is.
Yeah.
You mentioned the percussion folks, like they'll take it. So you don't write for percussion at all, like the front ensemble or any of them?
No, I don't. I specifically just do the wind book.
Okay.
What I will do, however, is that I will write what's called percussion cues. And so I have 10 various lines underneath, and where I have different sounds. Like I can have a marimba sound, a vibraphone sound, I can have bass drum, crash cymbal, snare drums. I have an electronic patch that I do that can signify here's where I want an electronic thing. And basically what that does is it tells our percussion arranger, let's say for instance, we're in the middle of the opener and I want this phrase to just be woodwinds, and I'd like it to be woodwinds and kind of shimmery. And so I'm going to write some cues for like a really high metal sound in the front ensemble. And I won't put any cues for any like battery instruments. And so that way the percussion guy knows this is a no battery moment. This is just woodwinds and some light front ensemble stuff. And then I'll put cues in like for a snare drum to enter in a certain measure. So he knows, okay, now I'm going to enter the snare drum here, and then I'm going to take over here, and it's all about the battery. And so there's a lot of guidance on my end that I'll give for like feels and colors and weights and volumes and things like that will kind of guide them in their writing.
And so let's say that all the percussion stuff was written, and then it comes back and it doesn't quite fit. Do you have any editorial say in kind of changes or edits? Or
Yeah, I think the way that it usually would, at least the way I like to respectfully do it, just because the percussion arrangers I work with are incredible.
Of course.
But yeah, there are some moments when I just don't think something works on the field, or even where we'll get drill. And I also uniquely do something here that I don't do for most programs, which is I'm here once a week as well. So I get to see the show evolve every Wednesday. I get to come into classes and both of their rehearsals on Wednesdays. That's happened a couple times this year of where we're struggling with what would be called staging on the field. So if you think about like a Broadway show where you place the actors and actresses and how they come on and off the stage. Similar in marching band, it's affected by timing quite a bit. It's really difficult when you're really far away from where the timing source is, which is usually the battery. I'm getting kind of nerdy now, sorry. But
that's okay. We've already talked about like how they get judged on the distance from
you get credit for that when you do it, and we do that really well here, which is awesome. But I will go in that moment and go, hey, what if we just removed the battery out of here? What if we removed the trombones from here? And so I do have editing rights to that, but I run all that through our CEO, Jody. So just making sure she approves it all.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when you were writing the show, did you know you were writing this show for Westlake, or do you write shows and then you shot the show?
I knew that I was writing for Westlake. Yeah, I was hired specifically to come join on this team. Yeah, I was really excited about it. It's a big opportunity for me personally.
So let's say there are some students who are amazing saxophone players, or do you, or trombonists or whomever it is, do you also receive feedback from the band directors about, hey, I'd like to really feature this section or this person or whatever? Do you get that information, and then so you kind of build that into the show as well?
Yeah, I do. That's something we talk about quite a bit on the front end. And so actually what I do with this program and most of my programs is they'll receive a big survey from me that will have every single instrument in the ensemble, and I'll know how many they have. He'll even go and grade it on like a 1 through 5 level, like 5 being this is like an incredible section, we need to feature it. 1, it's a really developing section, let's write really light for it. So the book is really customized to the players that are here. What's great about this school is that there's really not a weak section in our program, which is nice. So I get to kind of write whatever I want, but he will say things like even ranges of like, it's not true about the clarinets, but I'll pick on them because they're probably the strongest section in this group. But let's say the clarinets are struggling with like high range. He'll say something like that to me.
I just want to say that the clarinets here, I think we had 4 All-Staters last
they're
year
unbelievable.
out of the clarinet section.
Yeah.
That's why
That's
I think
fantastic.
the clarinet quartet is featured.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And to the point of that, that's something that he'll talk to me about ahead of time. So I knew that we had an outstanding trombone soloist, a flute soloist that we could use, trumpet player, and so he gave me a full list. Here are all the people that I think should be soloists or small ensemble features. Here are the sections that should be featured. Here are the ones you should probably write a lower grade level to make sure their experience is really positive. So yeah, it's super customized in that way.
I like that. I just like that idea, knowing that it's
But if
very
you shop
customized.
this and another school buys this in the future, will you rearrange it for them, or do
I
they
will.
just get what they get?
Yeah, I will. They'll get the same survey pretty much from me. And then within reason, I'll go in and change the soloist. Let's say they have a great soprano saxophone soloist and not a trombone soloist. Then I'll rewrite it to where it fits for soprano saxophone. And I'll do this. I won't do as much on some of the larger phrases that I wrote that's full band. But, sometimes some groups don't even have like mellophones, or they want to play this piece of music, but we have a really weak clarinet section. So we need to change the clarinet feature. So I'll definitely customize it to them. Yeah.
So you said that you were here at Westlake like once a week, kind of throughout this season.
Yes.
So then if you're here once a week, how many other bands are you working with kind of in a season?
Quite a bit. So I write for 16 total groups.
So you visit all 16?
Not
every
all
week?
16. No, I have one in Japan that I don't
okay.
visit. But I do have some around Texas. Most of mine are in Texas and Oklahoma, and just a few scattered out. But I usually visit, like here in town, I've got 4 groups that I regularly visit. Not every week, but at least once or twice a month.
Oh, okay.
And then I have quite a few groups in Dallas. And I'm from Dallas. My family lives up there, so it's convenient for me to go stay up there and see them and get to work with groups. I work with like McKinney up there, and Lone Star High School is a great group in Frisco as well.
So that's a lot of schools, 16.
It is, yeah.
Are they competitive with each other, or do you try to?
They are.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I also write for Dripping Springs High School, which is a direct competitor of Westlake, just right here around the corner. And yeah, I'd have quite a few that are direct competitors. So here in town, I'm writing for Hutto as well, who's up and coming band program. They're doing awesome things, having most success they've ever had. I'm really excited for them. Some really great people over there. Glen High School up in Leander ISD, I write for them as well. And then the other 2 here in Austin. Yeah.
Do you know who writes for Mo and Gene Johnson?
I do know their team. They're incredible.
That's a fantastic show.
Yeah, they're doing an
Liberty
incredible
Case.
job.
She loves that show.
They have a
I
lot of great
do.
drum corps designers in there, and Joni Perez, the head director, is an unbelievable teacher. Yeah.
So speaking just of different teams, do you know a lot of the other folks who do music arranging for the bands kind of in the area?
Yeah.
You do?
I do. Actually, one of the major ones here, Evan Van Doren, is like one of my best friends in the world. I was in his wedding, and he's kind of someone that helped me get into this career as well. He was a band director at Cedar Park for a while.
Oh, okay.
And exited out of that. He writes for Santa Clara Vanguard, and he does quite a few of the groups here, Cedar Park and Rouse being his major ones around the area. Yeah, he's wonderful. And so, there's quite a few in the area. Ryan George, who writes for Boston Crusaders that just won a world championship. He lives up in Leander ISD. His kid goes to Vista Ridge High School.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of like wonderful arrangers just right here in the area. Yeah.
Do y'all ever meet up?
We do.
Compare things or talk about kind of things y'all are going to do?
Oh, yes. I
Really?
regularly steal things from Evan and Ryan all the time. I don't know if they're ever going to hear this, but they know that. I go, they're some of the best. And so I think it's, some people like will ask me, like young people that are interested in doing this will ask me like, what's the best way to get good at music arranging? And I think this applies to a lot of things, composing especially, is just to steal other people's stuff. And that's what composers do all the time. They get inspired by other musicians.
Would never have done that.
Yeah, right. And that's what they do. They just go, oh, I like that thing. That's why music all sounds kind of similar. And then it's my new twist on whatever that is, which I think it's fun.
Who did that, the Lakme duet that's mixed with Miley Cyrus this year?
I have no idea.
I think it was Taft.
Yeah, I don't think I
I
heard
don't
that
know.
one.
I think it is one of my favorite mashups.
Oh, really?
It's 2 flutes doing the Lakme, and then Miley Cyrus, and that is hilarious.
That's
to me.
fun. That's what's kind of fun about the creativity of music arranging is you can mash things up and do all kinds of random things and create weird, unique sounds and play with pop things that, like our show this year, right? We're integrating pop music with, a major wind ensemble work with jazz music and Blue Rondo a la Turk. Like it's a wild mixture, and we get a lot of credit for that, especially from the judging community of the variety of our book, which has been so much fun writing.
I feel like I'm like complimenting all the other schools, but Westlake's
good.
big hit, their first hit, is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It's long. I handed it to them and I looked at Thomas and I was like, all right, this is a long sustain. Are y'all ready for it? And Thomas is so excited and eager and a wonderful teacher. So
our neighbor was with
us
us at community night, and she goes, oh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's exciting. I love it. Yeah.
Which we've learned is the goal, is to give people goosebumps. And she was thrilled at that first big hit.
That's definitely a major part of it, is the effect side of things. We're all aware of general effects, and a lot of that is how you emotionally connect with an audience, how they react and give feedback to you as well. And so much of that is those powerful moments, right?
So that first show that you wrote, you couldn't remember the name, but you knew what school it was for.
Yeah, I think I said Judson. It's Wagner High School. I need to correct that.
Okay.
Wagner.
How did they come to hire you? Like, how did that come about?
It was through a friend. I didn't know anyone that was teaching there. I had worked with, well, actually, while I was a band director, I was clinicking quite a bit, just going and visiting other programs. As Leander became a more successful program in my tenure there, I was being asked to come and help out other programs. And so I took an opportunity to go to Martin High School up in Dallas-Fort Worth, and the percussion director there and I hit it off really well. And he is a phenomenal teacher and percussion arranger. And after that experience of a couple of years of developing a relationship with him, he was writing for Wagner High School, and they were looking for an arranger, but they didn't have a lot of funds. And I had expressed to him I was just interested. And so he called me up and said, hey, would you like to do this? They don't have a lot of money. And I was like, I don't care how much they give me. It doesn't matter. I just want to try it. I think it would be fun to hear something I wrote on a marching field would be like a big dream of mine.
I bet that was really cool.
It was. And so he gave me the connection, and then over time, I wrote for them for, I think, 3 or 4 years. And over time, that led, someone heard that and went, wow, that's really interesting. And they hired me. And then it just exponentially from there just started growing.
About how many shows do you think you've completed or done to this point?
Oh my gosh, probably at this point, hundreds.
Really?
Probably at this point, yeah.
Can you think of a show that you wish maybe you had changed, after it was done on the field and whatnot?
Not to give this cop-out answer, but I think I feel that way about everything that I write. Yeah. I think that I oftentimes will do that at the end of a season before I go into the next one, which is about to happen. This month-long break from November to early December, I will try to go back and listen to everything that I wrote this year. And even oftentimes we'll try to go back a few years just to get some perspective of where I've kind of grown and what did I like about what I wrote this year and where did I fall short. That's something I do during the season as well. So I would say actually probably everything. To give clarity to that answer, sometimes when you write something on a computer program and then you hear it live, it's just not the same experience. Whether it's the way the kids are performing or how I voiced it, or the way it sounds outside versus on my computer. So it's a totally different experience. And then, you add percussion layers to it and then the visual layers. And not to get once again very nerdy in this, but there was this moment in our show this year when we just weren't getting audience reaction in a place that we all felt like it should be happening. And it was just a simple thing we had to edit and change and adjust to the music because the visual looked stronger than the music sounded. And so we needed to make an adjustment to just make it make more sense. And so I think there's always editing that goes on, and I will definitely do that for myself going forward into next year. Like, what's the next layer of growth that I'd like to take and improve on? Here
we have come to the cake question. Miss Ayren, do you want to ask him?
Okay, talk real slow so I can think of an answer.
Okay, so our dream, and we've talked about this in every podcast, I think, except the very first one.
Okay.
When we were all serious about talking about the show, we were discussing the idea of a gigantic cake out on the field.
Okay.
And it would be like the stage.
Okay.
But from the center of the cake, 3 sousaphones in a nice little collage would arise and be lifted up and play a song.
Okay.
A feature.
Yeah.
What piece can you think of that would be fantastic?
Oh my gosh. The first thing that pops in my head is like playing like celebrate good times, come on.
Okay.
I think that would be fun. Pull the tuba, start it, and then you pull the whole band behind it and turn it into a big jazz shout chorus. Could be really interesting. But I guess it depends on the show. Do you know what the show is?
We don't
in your
have
mind?
a show yet.
No, we just want the cake.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the
We
two
would
of us.
write the whole show
Yeah.
around the cake.
I also watch.
And maybe Happy Birthday.
Happy
would
Birthday would be the
inappropriate.
low-hanging fruit, I feel like.
Right.
I was like feeling like Baby Elephant Walk
That's funny.
might be fantastic for the tubas.
Or what's the Mana Mana Boop
Oh, yeah.
Boop would be a
Yes.
good one. I watch Great
Yes.
British Baking Show a lot, and so maybe the
too.
theme from Great British Baking Show would be a good answer as well. I just gave you 4 answers. I feel like that's really good. How did Carrie Taylor do?
We didn't ask him for music. We just
Oh.
asked him if he regretted not using that idea when I first presented it when he was still the director.
Well, there
And-
was, I don't know what years that you are. So you currently have a kid
Yes.
in the organization?
He's a senior.
And what about you?
So I am a friend.
Okay.
Kevin worked in Eanes
Yeah.
a while back, and then he went to a different district, and
Right.
so our kids went there. And
Oh, okay.
Well,
Gotcha.
the older one marched
So you're just
in that
attached to
other
band
district.
through that.
I
Okay.
am just a band nerd. Like
I
I'm
love
just
it.
a fan, and so we still I'll still go to competitions and
Uh-huh.
whatnot just because
Yeah.
we like to go. So no, I am not affiliated.
Gotcha. Well, I know in like Westlake, the reason I bring it up is because
Mm-hmm.
Westlake, when I first started teaching, was like, it still is one of the best band programs in the country here. And they did an Italian show, I remember, like an Italian opera show, and they had a big bridge on the field or a big
Yes.
staircase, one of the
The
two.
giant staircase in
And
2012 is what
yes,
he told us
I
about.
feel like the big cake could come out and it could be an Italian cream cake. You see where I'm going with this?
yeah.
And then it would be appropriate to have it out there.
Oh my gosh, then they could do opera music
They
out
could.
there.
Wouldn't
Yes.
that be
They
neat?
could play Violetta.
That would. Be
I think they did a
neat.
bunch of Italian operas that year. I think
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Like La Boheme that's Italian, right? Or is that
Yes.
French?
That's
That's
Puccini.
Italian. That was a good answer. Yeah.
That was a great
Thank you.
answer.
It was.
It's a great
Appreciate it.
answer. Thank
you
you.
for the positive feedback.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
We would use you.
Thank you.
So speaking again of all the different shows you've done,
Sure.
do you have an absolute favorite show?
Does it have to be high school band or
No.
drum corps as well?
Not at all. Just do you have a favorite show
I
that
have
you've
2.
done? Okay, tell
Yeah.
us.
Actually, wow, there are so many shows popping in my head. I'll just throw out a bunch of them.
Okay.
The first show that ever inspired me to want to be a band director was the 2007 LD Bell High School Marching Band. They won the Grand National Championships that year with that show.
But let me just clarify. You didn't do the music for that.
No,
one.
I was in college at the
Okay.
time.
So what about the shows that
Oh,
you've
that I
done?
did.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite?
I thought you were just talking about
favorite?
I was about to just go down the road of all the things. Okay.
All the things.
All right,
uh-huh.
favorite one that I've done.
But if you want to give us some of your favorite shows
Of
you've
course, that
seen,
you've seen
Sure.
we're happy
also.
to put links
Of
Oh,
course.
in the
okay.
show notes
Yeah,
if
we'd
people
love
want to
do
watch
that.
them too.
Okay, I'll throw that out after this. I think it's this year. And we at North Shore High School, I write for them in Houston. They're an awesome band out there. They actually just 2 days ago made the state marching contest, 6A.
Congratulations.
They're fantastic. They are doing Scheherazade.
Oh, I love it.
And we're remaking Scheherazade, and it's been really cool. It's a new updated version of it. Yeah, it's really
Sorry,
cool.
there's a big harp solo there.
There is,
It's
yeah.
lovely.
And I kind of, everything I do in my arranging is more of a modern take on original works or whatever. I just like it to be more of this modernized version of marching band that's a little more fresh and unique and different. And so I feel like I did that really well this year, and that was a lot of fun to write. I had a lot of fun doing that one, and they're playing exceptionally well. Yeah. So I think that one is my favorite.
Okay. So let's go back to the previous,
Sure.
what you were talking about. So tell us about some of your favorite shows that
Sure.
inspired you maybe or.
Yeah. 2007 LD Bell. They did a show based on the movie Pan's Labyrinth, and they won the Grand National Championships that year. And they were kind of the first Texas band to really lean into what people would call the BOA general effect world. The same guy, Wes Cartwright, who did a lot of the Broken Arrow shows when they became successful. He did Crown Show this year, Mason, all these incredible bands. I think he does Pearland now. He was the one there doing all of that. Incredible show. Other high school band ones, the Marcus era, when Amanda Drinkwater was there as the head director. There was
We're going to try to talk to her next year too.
Oh,
I went to school
the
with her.
best. Oh, did you really? She taught at Leander High School right before I was there. She's an unbelievable teacher, probably one of the best, if not the best, of our generation, I think. She did with them I remember these giant orange gates, and they play ba-da-da-zee-da-da-da-dee-dum. It was just one of the most stunning shows I've ever seen. Incredible playing. And then there's just a lineage of drum corps shows. I could list a billion of them. 99 Santa Clara Vanguard was awesome. They did a lot of Philip Glass music that year and some Bartok stuff in those other years. And there's some really cool stuff there that's really neat.
Why are you laughing now?
I'm trying to imagine Philip Glass on the field. Do 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 do.
You really have to get creative as an arranger because it doesn't change a lot. It's mainly just arpeggiated chords.
I had to play a ballet. I didn't know if it was ever going to end.
Oh yeah,
I think I counted like over 100 measures of the same thing that I played.
Was this the Einstein on the Beach stuff? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. It was Ballet Austin a few years ago.
Okay.
It was just, it's painful.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's a lot. Yeah, I think those would be my big ones off the top of my head. And then I'm obviously a Leander High School band fan since I was there for 14 years. And I thought we did some really unique and fun things during my time there.
So the rumor is you're the one that built up the big giant marching program there in Leander and made Leander such a marching
well, thank you.
Force.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm really proud of my time there. I will have to say, just to give credit, my boss prior to me, I was an assistant for 7 years and then head director for 7 years. And my boss prior to me, Nils Gunderson, came into the program during a time when all the schools were opening in Leander. So Leander just kept getting pulled from, and it really hurt the program. The numbers and financial things just were really, really rough. And there were some unfortunate things that happened with the previous director before that really, really hurt the program. And he is credited to coming in and saving that place and trusting us as teachers to be able to bring it forward. And then when I took over in 2015 was the first year I took over there, we were just kind of hitting our stride. And I was trying to figure out, how do I create a program that is not the same as everything else around us? And Cedar Park and Vandergrift at the time were just exceptional programs, and they were playing this very classically driven game. They would play like great classical orchestral works and do them incredibly well because they're brilliant teachers and wonderful band programs. And I wanted to do something the exact opposite of that. So we leaned into electronics and leaned into playing John Adams and Philip Glass and mixing it with Britney Spears and all kinds of crazy things. Just because I wanted our kids to be excited about something different and unique. And
did you play the chairman dances?
We did. We did. And it was luckily our arranger there, Ryan George, who I mentioned earlier, writes for Boston Crusaders. He was our music arranger there the whole time. And he is unbelievable. He can do that stuff and make it interesting.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's
cool stuff. I'm seeing the heart part in my head right now for the chairman dances.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, that's just bum 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 dun dun dun, just over and over again. And there's not a lot of melodic material in it, and so he was able to bring it to life, which was fun. But yeah, our shows were always driven towards entertainment first. That is something I still believe. It's called a marching band show for a reason. The audience, as I call them, the nacho eaters. I try to say this to band directors often and kids too, is like the nacho eaters in the stands. You don't want them to go underneath the stands and ignore you during halftime. Like, you want to entertain them. That's what bands were originally that. And because we have this competitive side of band now, I don't think we should pull away from that. I think we can do both. We can be competitive and entertaining at the same time. It can be enjoyable to watch, and it can also be excellent. So I try to push for that in everything I do. In my arranging and definitely in my teaching, it was at the forefront that, like, I want the audience to stand up and cheer as loud as possible during our show because it's going to make the kids feel awesome. And I want them to be moved emotionally by what we're doing, whether they laugh or they cry or they cheer and get excited, whatever that is. Like, I want to do that in some way. So we were always a little rough around the edges as far as like the quality of it goes. It got better over time, but it was a lot of fun to watch. And we got a lot of credit for that, which I appreciated.
I think I heard the dates overlap a little bit. So were you still a band director at Leander when you first started arranging?
I was.
And so you did that kind of just in your spare time because that was something you were really interested in and wanted to get into?
Yes. And actually, while I was at UT, I took some orchestration classes and composing classes just for fun. I was always been interested in it. I did it when I was in high school just for fun. In college, I would write epic works for smaller, different types of ensembles, whether it was for the saxophone studio that I was in or whatever through a class. The reason this actually became a pathway for my life is that I was a third band director at Leander for a long time, for those first 7 years. And so I was teaching, at the time we only had 3 bands when I was there. And so I'm teaching a pretty wide variety of skill level. I'm teaching a kid who maybe just started their instrument because they just wanted to join band. And then I'm teaching someone who could be in the second band and played grade 5, the hardest literature, but just didn't have a great audition. And so you're really having to like entertain a large spectrum of kids and ability levels. And the music for that particular ensemble, there's just not a lot of great music out there for young bands. It's getting better. It definitely is improving. But I would just roll my eyes like, how do you get a senior kid who's in your third band to be excited about playing something that middle schoolers are playing? And so what I ended up doing is I would take these like awesome, like full orchestra works and I'd turn them into achievable concert band works for my ensemble. So that way at the spring concert, we can do like an easy version of Carmina Burana or an easy version of Verdi's Requiem. And so they have all this cool music. They're like, I recognize that. That's awesome. And they are capable of playing it, and I can teach them something that's interesting and unique and feels serious to them. So that way, when they're at the concert at the end of the season and they're listening to the wind ensemble play all this awesome stuff and they're cheering and getting all this applause, that happens for the third band kids too, because they deserve it as much as anyone else does. And it just felt like, at least I didn't want to be the director that just kind of went like, oh, it's the third band. Let's just, I'll get them into band 2 next year. That's my goal. Like I wanted it to be a great experience. So I started writing all this music because of that. And I ended up getting pretty good at it and got a lot faster at it. And then that moment happened with this guy, Andrew Hoskins, I told you about, that gave me the opportunity. And during my last 5 years there, I started making a lot more money as this side fun job than I was being a teacher at Leander High School. I kind of looked at my 2 options and went, wow, I'm spending a hilarious amount of time teaching right now that is really bringing me a lot of stress. It was kind of mid-pandemic that this started to become a possibility in my brain. And then I'm looking over here and going, I can double the number of clients I have and still be connected to the band world and still teach kids, which I love doing, be creative, but then also just kind of have a better life for myself.
Do you still create arrangements for concert bands?
I do, yeah.
Oh, great.
I'm trying to also be a composer, and I actually have a piece I'm writing right now for Leander Middle School's going to the Midwest Conference this next year, and she happens to be one of my best friends, so I'm writing a piece for her right now.
Ayren, you know what I think we should do?
What?
I think for next year's national anthem, maybe he could write us a duet.
That's right. So we have to.
What instrument?
We should make our announcement right now.
Let's do it. Ayren, go ahead.
This is a big deal.
We have a huge announcement.
It's very well, for us, it's
For
very
us, it's
exciting.
a
I'm glad
huge
I'm here for
announcement.
Yes.
We've been sitting on this and very excited because we have season tickets to UT basketball,
Okay.
men's basketball,
Awesome.
and we sent in an audition tape
Yeah.
video to play the national anthem.
A duet.
Awesome.
Not singing, but playing.
Not
Okay.
playing the harp.
No, not playing
No.
the harp.
Oh, no.
I'm going to play the saxophone.
Okay.
And I'm playing the triangle.
Awesome.
It is fantastic.
It is.
I love it.
And we were
is.
sure
That's
we were
fun.
going to be preseason only.
Yeah.
And when they sent us the dates, one
They
of the
sent
games,
us a few options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the games was the opening SEC with Georgia.
No way.
Yes.
Are y'all
yes
doing
way.
that one?
No, because I'm already booked to play
She
that
was already
weekend.
booked. I mean, she's a professional here, so yeah.
Yeah. Didn't want to make your triangle debut.
Well,
in
I
front
was
of
going
us.
to. I told my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even
Yeah.
care about this work. I will cancel.
Yeah.
And this is so much more important than
That's so
orchestral
funny.
playing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so-
congratulations. That's a big deal. That's
It
really
is a
cool.
big
Can you
deal.
imagine?
But instead, we're playing on December 16th at a game
Okay.
where nobody's ever heard of the team. I have no idea where the college is.
Uh-huh.
I think it might be in New Jersey. I
It's
looked it up.
Lemoyne.
Okay.
Lemoyne.
Not sure.
Oh, no idea.
But
I'm sure a lot of people will still be there.
but
though.
our goal is that then we can actually have tickets for our friends
Oh, yeah. good
Right.
point.
because the Georgia game was sold out.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So my husband is like, do not get out of work to do that. That's ridiculous. But he just doesn't understand. But
Yeah,
I
it's a
also
big
told him
deal. That's
he's
fun.
missed a lot of really big performances for me.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I played solo stuff with Andrea Bocelli and,
Yeah.
you know, Placido Domingo. And you went to
That's
that.
right,
Mark
that's
didn't
right.
even go to that.
Really?
No,
Come on, Mark.
I know. we we talk badly about him in all the podcasts.
Oh, really?
I don't. Let's preface.
I
Let's
do.
clarify.
We call
I
him
don't.
our begrudging sponsor.
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
So
Well, we appreciate Mark sponsoring the podcast.
we
Yes,
do.
we do.
Yeah.
Very much. And he's also going to build us the giant cake.
Yes,
Oh,
he
great.
is. Yes,
Excellent.
he is.
So if you wanted to write us the music to go along with the cake that he
I'm
builds for
totally
us,
in. Yeah,
We've
I feel
got
like
it
this is
going.
important.
Yes, indeed.
we're happy to design the show and shop it around.
Oh, great.
So anyhow, what I'm thinking is maybe next year we could get your assistance in a new duet.
That's right.
Great. I'm in. No
I
problem.
only play 2 instruments. I only play harp and triangle.
We could.
Well, you have a whole year that you can
I
learn.
feel
how
I
like
to
can
we
play.
could
learn
figure
a new
something out.
instrument. We'll have to think about that.
Or next year, you could play the harp and I could play something different.
I don't want to have to drag my harp there.
I know.
So
I know.
I'm curious about the arrangement. Is it beam ba dum bum bum?
It's just very
ding?
simple. Yes.
Yeah.
pretty
It
much.
starts out though. Bling!
Awesome.
Instead of
Yeah.
snare drum, we've got a
Yeah.
triangle roll.
I love it.
Mr. Armini was so funny because we showed him the video and he's like, "Oh, you used the overtones.
That's
you
funny.
used all the sides."
Good for you. Doing it right.
That's right.
I
So-
told him when I was at KU, I had to play auxiliary percussion with the wind ensemble because I was easier than finding another percussionist, I guess. Oh, I never finished about Mark. He's missed all those big performances, but I told him if he missed this one, I was going to kill him.
That's not really going to
All right,
happen.
Mark.
Don't worry.
You heard it here first.
He's going to be there.
He's going to be there.
He will. I have a
He
feeling
has it
he's
on
gonna
his
pull through.
calendar. All of his travel is blacked out
Yeah.
Oh,
for that
really?
day. He's not traveling
Good
that
for
day.
him.
That's,
Commitment.
That's pretty
That's
awesome.
love.
It is.
Now that we know you,
Yes. I'm in.
You be thinking
in.
of a nice instrumental combo.
right?
Okay.
And then we can.
I feel
see
like
if we
we're a
can
little
do it.
limited on our options, but
We might be.
Yeah,
We
that's
might
I
okay.
can learn another instrument.
I mean, I
I played
probably
bassoon once and I
could.
played bass once.
Just something easily portable.
Sure.
Maybe we should get back to
Back to the
some of our
podcast.
questions. How long does it take to complete a typical commission? So once folks contact you and you've sort of worked out with the program person, kind of all the things, about how
Yeah.
long does it take to do it?
I can't give you like a clear answer to that.
Sure.
Because I try to write during my season by movement. And so I'm going band 1 through 16 openers, band 1 through 16
okay.
ballads. Then so they'll receive the opener sometime in January or February, and then from there it's like every 2 months or a month or so. But as far as like when I sit down and start, it'll probably take me 2 days to complete like a one movement of music.
Wow,
So
that's
I would
fast.
I had to just get faster at it for sure. Some take longer than others for sure. I probably put more time in on like bands like Westlake and Dripping Springs just because they can play harder music, so it's just notes to page just takes a little bit longer.
Do you have sort of a stockpile of shows that are ready or partially ready that then you can pull from?
No, I don't. I do everything new every year. Yeah, as
Wow.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have ideas that I like. Like, for instance, this McKinney High School up in Dallas, there's this big work called Symphonic Metamorphosis
Oh, yeah,
that I've
yeah,
always
yeah.
wanted to arrange, but I didn't want anyone to roll their eyes and be like, wow, here we go. We're this one again. I wanted to do the fresh take on it. And so I actually get to program coordinate for them as well. So I kind of have a lot of say within the direction of the design there. And it's something I just was like, let's do this. I can hear it in my head. I want to make sure this happens. And so sometimes I get to have a lot of influence in that. But no, I try to do new stuff every single year. I don't have anything like sitting down that I can just hand off to people. I prefer to make it fresh and unique because it's very specific to the show, right? Like I don't want to force something into urban jungle. I want it to be unique for this school and an experience that everyone can agree on,
So it sounds like you know pretty far in advance, like who you'll be working with. Is there any kind of last minute kind of like additions to things? And so you have to work on something and get like the opener out like really quickly to them or
Yeah, there definitely is. I would say starting pretty much right now, as far as the year goes, right now until February, usually January, is when the big shuffle of designers happens, as I like
really?
to call it. That
Okay.
people get fired or leave, and new people come in. It's because like when you hire a new program coordinator, they probably want to bring their people. New band director shows up, they probably want to bring people they're used to. And so there is a lot of movement that happens during this time of year. So right now there are bands that are reaching out to me to have me write their music or program coordinate. And so I kind of make my decisions around this time of year.
That's really early.
It feels like it, right?
We'll have Westlake show already decided, I would say, before the new year.
Oh, really?
That happens, just depending on how fast Jody is working with it. But usually I like to be writing by January sometime. Yeah, so it's a pretty early process. I mean, it truly a year round, right? Like I think right when the season ends, Jody is going to go sit down and go, okay, what are my new ideas and what's the new show for Westlake and the new direction for them?
Do you know, like, kind of maybe how long typically bands keep a certain kind of set of people together, or like their show designer or their music arranger, or?
There's not really a standard. Well, like I said earlier, it's kind of dependent on who the director is. Sometimes shows just don't work, and some directors decide they want to go in a new direction.
More like the football coaches.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Football coach, you lost that game, you're
a little
out.
bit of what have you done for me lately? It's a little bit of that. And people say what you want about it, but it's a creative process, and sometimes it works and it gels really well, and sometimes you go, oh, this just isn't the music arranger for me, and I'm excited about this new person, and that's okay. I learned not to take it personally, because it is a business, right? I mean, there's a lot. The Marching Band show impacts a lot. It is a recruitment tool for kids coming into the program. When an 8th grader sees it, you want them to be proud of what they're going into. It rallies the community behind you. It gets parents to want to be involved, and it gets the community to see you at football games and see the success of the band program. There's so much that goes into it that's so important that I understand why band directors really like to protect that part of the program and make sure that they have the best possible shot at having a great product.
With all the wind ensemble, it's still the only really public facing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Bigger than really anything else in the school, if you think about it. I mean, football team, obviously, but the band's at the football game all the time. And then they do all these contests as well. Sometimes people forget that. I know the people listening to this already know this, but you forget that band programs y'all go to 16 football games. Most band programs go to 10. And
Last year, Thomas was like, oh my gosh, football's never going to end.
I know, poor Thomas.
He had never been at Westlake. It was his first year at Westlake.
Let's tangent for a second. I was the region chair my last year teaching at Leander, and we hosted a region here. And I was sitting with Carrie. He had not retired yet, and sitting in his office, hanging out during region band auditions. And we added up the number of games that I had been to in my career versus the number of playoff games that he had been to in his career, and he had way more, almost double playoff games than actual games I had attended, which is wild to think about. And then because the football team is so incredible here. Anyway, point being of all of that, you forget that band kids are doing that, and contests and
they
rehearsals.
Have their band program and the football support.
Yeah, they're the hardest working kids in the school. There's no doubt
Friday,
about it.
Our kids go to BOA in San Antonio next Friday, and we're supposed to feed them as they get on the buses so they get back, and we have senior recognition.
At the football game?
90 minutes to get back here.
Oh, it's not
in
gonna
rush
happen.
hour.
Not going to happen.
I'm like,
Mr. Turpin, it's not going to happen.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think
this
so.
will come out Friday night. We'll know.
It'll be too late.
It'll come out next Friday at midnight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you'll definitely know by then.
Yes.
We had 1 year to do it. We made a big deal out of it because we missed that game because BOA San Antonio. And we 1 year made a big event and brought all of our families up, and
that's nice.
Performed the show and made a big line, and the seniors walked down it and all that stuff because they just try to accommodate as much.
Right.
As sometimes you can't decide.
You just can't. Yeah, there's so many things, but we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. Good luck, Mr. Turpin.
That's right. Good luck. What is your favorite band memory? It could be when you were a band director. It could be when you were a student.
It could be when you were drum majoring at UT.
Right.
Yeah, I have two, if I can tell two.
Of course.
Okay. The first one is when I was in Longhorn Band at the 2005 National Championship game.
Oh, of course.
Technically 2006, I guess.
Yes.
It was January 2006.
That was Vince.
Vince Young, USC, and I was sitting over with the band in the end zone, and I will never forget that entire experience, but particularly I remember exactly where I was when he ran on 4th and 18 into the end zone on 4th down. Like, it was just like pandemonium. So much fun. I'll never forget the opportunities, and you fully understand this, that Longhorn Band gave me as a human to experience incredible things. And a lot of it obviously was football based, but even to, for instance, another one to add to my list here, this actually might be even one that impacted me more. Hurricane Katrina happens that same year, I believe. It was fall 2005. And the Saints were playing in San Antonio. They had moved their football club there. We did the first game in San Antonio, Longhorn Band at halftime. And we played a Beatles show and made, State of Texas and the Star, very traditional things. And I've never heard an audience scream as loud as they did. To have that kind of a reaction. I remember it being very powerful because it was one of those things, like, there was so much emotion going into the game. They moved the team. San Antonio was excited about having a professional football club for a year, and a lot of people died in this tragedy. And so there was a lot of like emotion in there. And then for us to play, I remember it was like we played Hey Jude, and I'll never forget that, like standing there in a full arena of people screaming and yelling. And that's an opportunity Longhorn Band brought me that I never would have had if I would have just been a regular student at UT. And there is a ton of those that I can talk about just over and over again that were incredible experiences. Marched in the Bush's second inaugural parade, which was a really incredible experience as well. It was unbelievably cold, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and then I would say my favorite high school memory would be 2014 BOA Austin. We had a year prior to that at Leander, we were trying to figure out how to be one of these elite programs, and we just kept hitting walls and just weren't getting competitive results. And the year prior, we had missed BOA San Antonio by 0.25, finals by 0.25, missed state. We were the alternate to state.
Oh, goodness.
And then at BOA Austin in 2013, we were on the sideline ready to go march, and a giant rainstorm came in and destroyed our electronics, and so we had to back out of the competition. So 2014, that was the first time that we had made finals at BOA Austin, and we ended up shockingly, none of us were expecting it, getting second place that year. And so I remember sitting there with my kids at finals retreat, and I'm putting medals on them because we had won the class award, and you're just hearing these names get called of these incredible band programs that I have idolized as a teacher. And I remember looking at a kid, be like, did they call our name yet? And they were like, no, they haven't yet. And I don't think there's ever been a group of parents and kids more excited to receive second place in their life to not win. But it was a really big turning point for our organization. Finally, all this hard work is getting recognized in a competitive way. And that's by no means is that the most important thing. But I remember seeing smiles on kids' faces and having these really awesome moments with them. That was really cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
That was one of Carrie's favorite memories, was all the smiles of the kids and the excitement at competitions when they did well.
Yeah. And some of them, even I would say too, my last year teaching, 2021, we did this show at Leander called A Long Strange Trip, and it was all Grateful Dead music, and we had a giant VW bus on the field, like an actual one, and it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool show. We intentionally, out of the pandemic, wanted to do a very light show that was just exciting for the audience. We didn't know if we'd be really competitively successful, and we had a hard year. And that year for us, we received 9th place in San Antonio, and that was not our normal competitive success. We were usually in the top 3 or 4 there, and I was worried about how the kids would react. And after we got off the field, I've never seen kids so excited about the season and how well they did. And they were truly invested and excited and proud of their performance, and had nothing to do with scores or anything. And I just knew as an educator, I was like, I'm doing something right here. This is really cool. The kids really love being a part of this. And so yes, competitive success is exciting and everything, but at the end of the day, the kids are going to get on the bus and have pizza, and they're not going to care about it. They're going to go, oh, that was fun. I'm just excited to hang out with my friends. That's why they're here, right? Yes, they want to play great music. That's important, but it's about the connection they have together, the family that we create here and everything. So
speaking about getting on the bus and eating pizza, we like to ask all of our guests.
Great segue, by the way.
Yes. What was your favorite band meal?
Favorite band meal? Well, okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say. The yellow meal in Longhorn Bands. That's what we called it. The yellow meal.
Yes.
Which was a KFC box with you would get a biscuit, which was yellow. You'd get mac and cheese, which was yellow. The fried chicken that is yellow. So yellow meal is my best memory. We always got excited about that in Longhorn Band. And then I would say I have two when I was a teacher at Leander. Bush's Chicken.
Okay.
You get a box of Bush's Chicken and gravy and rolls and yumminess.
We've never done fried chicken that I know of.
It's great. And then the kids in particular, and I did like this one, but the kids really hyped. We would do a Panda Express orange chicken bowl with lo mein, and the kids really liked that a lot.
Have you done Panda Express?
We have not. We do the orange chicken from our cafeteria because it's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, Chick-fil-A obviously was always popular with the kids and everything. But,
and Cane's.
Yes, of course.
And so on those long bus rides, how did you generally entertain yourself?
You know, I operated pretty stressed out in those moments. I was really anxious going into competitions and just worried that something was going to go wrong. And honestly, we were usually running late. We were usually running late because buses would not show up on time, or something would break down, or Austin traffic, as you know, just hits you and you deal with it. I don't know. I would usually like play a stupid game on my phone, I think. On the way back home, I was the nerdy band director that would already be listening to the judges' tapes and figuring out what my next week's plan was. And also, a lot of times our competitions obviously are on Saturday, and I'm a huge college football fan, and so I would probably be watching college football as well.
You have 16 shows out there right now.
I do.
How many of them are going to state?
Well, the 5A ones haven't gone yet, but I can predict probably what's going to happen. Westlake, Dripping Springs, North Shore. I think that Roma High School down in the Valley, I write for them. Hannah High School down in the Valley did make it. They're a 6A group. I think Lone Star is probably going to get in. They're a 5A group. They're likely going to get in. I guess that's it. 5, 6. I'm trying to think of what other schools. I try to do a mix of small band programs and large band programs. So I'm not writing for Westlakes all the time.
Yeah.
It would be impossible for me to do that. Yeah, so I'd say 6, which I'm pretty happy
good.
about. Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a good percentage.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, actually, Glenn might make it to area or make it to state as well. I think they did the last time, so I could see them getting in.
That'd be 7.
Yeah, and then I help out at Rouse as well. I go to rehearsals. I don't write for them, but I just go help in tech because they're my friends and they're awesome. So it's fun to be there.
That program really
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever, and this is not to
They're
knock,
not 6A. They're
5A.
5A.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a band program rehearse as well as they do. It's pretty incredible. It's very structured and the kids are fully bought in. And I think there's a lot of great rehearsing bands there, but I just would like to compliment the teachers. They're pretty phenomenal. They're really, really wonderful. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
You'd like to say to all the folks?
Because this is mostly Westlake people that are listening to this.
We don't think so. They're downloaded all over the country.
All over the place. Great.
It could be. I have I've shared it with all my LHB friends that, I've got.
Oh, sure.
Some folks I work with whose kids have just started band in different places. And it's lots of different folks.
Yeah, I can say some inspiring things.
Let's do it.
Number one, Mr. Turpin is incredible. And he was the perfect person to hire at this band program along with the rest of the staff that's here. I've never seen this staff as excited and gelled and works so well together and does the right thing for kids all the time. It's a really special place here, and Mr. Turpin's doing a wonderful job. Tough person to follow in Carrie Taylor, right? And for Mr. Turpin to come do that so successfully, I'm really proud of him. Band is a life-changing activity, and if there are any parents out there that are considering allowing their kid to quit, don't do it. Don't let them quit. If they're 8th grade parents that are coming into 9th grade, make them do it. It is a powerful thing, especially for how to teach kids how to work hard, how to teach kids how to work in a community and on a team. There's not a larger and more organized and more high expectation team on campus than the band program. And most places, even the ones that aren't as competitively successful, you learn how to operate with people not like you. And band directors do such a great job holding kids accountable and asking them to hold themselves accountable. That, which would go into this next thing, which is band directing, I think through my experience is one of the most challenging things I've ever done. There's a lot of thankless things you have to do, and you don't often see the results of all of your hard work all the time, and you get them in small spurts when a kid lights up and figures something out and gets excited about playing their instrument, or just comes and talks to you one day. And so if you're a band parent out there, no matter what program you're in, go find a way to appreciate the educators that are teaching your kids. It's a scary place out there in the world right now, and the way that politics are going and what seems like the lack of support for the arts regularly coming around the corner. There's a lot of sacrifice happening with music educators across the country, all teachers, of course, but what is expected of music educators and their time and their energy and their effort, and making your kids pass their classes and bring their things and performing at a high level and going to the competitions and they're sacrificing so much. And bring them food on a Friday night, and give them a gift at the end of the season or into the holidays. Like, all that stuff I remember felt really, really great, and I really appreciated that. Or even if it's like, send an email. I can tell how hard you're working. I can tell that you've been investing a lot in my kid. Like, those were the most important things to me, when I would actually see my work working. So parents, do that. That's what I got.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So we actually want to thank you for taking, this time, this bit over an hour, or a lot over an hour,
Good job,
to speak with us.
I told you I could talk.
Well, we appreciate it. We loved it. I'm just speaking for us, Ayren, that we loved it. It was very interesting, and we learned some new things. But thank you. Really, thank you for all you've done before, and thank you for your impact on. Think of all the impact you're making, seriously, with all the bands that you work with and the music, and just kind of that inspiration and everything. So that's pretty incredible. So thank you so much. And listeners, I'll say the thing I say all the time at the end of our podcast. If you did have some additional questions for Mr. Selaiden, please email us at fansoftheband.whs@yahoo.com. We would love to hear from you. And I believe that's a wrap for this
Thanks for having me.
episode of the podcast. You are welcome. Thank you.